Do you have a bajillion air pumps scattered throughout of your fish tank room? You are just tired of having every tank, just having one single pump for every tank. Today, you don't have to worry about that. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I deleted every single pump in my room and decided just to go with one pump that would power every single tank within this room. If you're wondering how I did that, what I did was I installed a 1/2-inch PVC line running around the whole fish room, and then I tapped tiny little valves into this pressurized line, which is going to be hooking up to one pump. Now that is a massive pump, but Haiger was so kindly enough to send us one of these so we could go ahead and hook the air system up in the fish room. You want to check out this pump exactly? I am going to do a small video on it and break it down and get into more detail. But anyway, further ado, this is how you get a single air system running throughout of your whole fish room so you don't have a bajillion pumps pumping air into all of your tanks. Okay, so in the video, you're going to see me installing these tiny little valves. Now, these things you can find on Amazon for fairly cheap. I think I paid roughly $16, and I think I got 25 of these. The best thing about them is they are threaded, which is fantastic because it just threads right into the 1/2-inch line that you're going to be putting around the fish room. If you want to go with a 1-inch line, you can. I mean, you could probably get away with an 1.25-inch line if you have a ton more tanks than what I do. We have threaded tape. Now, if you don't know what this is, this pretty much goes on anything threaded that is either air or gas or even water. After that, we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of pipe thread tape, and we're going to put some of it around the threaded part of the valve. This means when we thread this into whatever size diameter pipe you are using for your main, for your air, you're not going to have any leaks coming out of that hole. And this completely can just delete silicone because we don't like using silicone. It's messy, it's dirty, and it gets everywhere. So trust me when I say this, definitely get yourself some threaded tape. Airline tubing, everyone has it. Maybe you don't, maybe make an order to Amazon. I did the same thing. I ordered this on Amazon for roughly $12. 100 foot, and it's black. It goes with the theme of the fish room, so that's even better. Before you start drilling, let me go ahead and tell you, always start small when you're drilling a hole. And I know you're going to say, well, just get the right drill bit. Well, some people might not be as mechanically inclined as the next person. So what I'm going to go ahead and suggest is if you have some Diablo bits laying around that has a tapered top like this, where it goes thin to big, this is going to be the best option for you. Or you can just go ahead and grab some, drill bits that you have laying around and just butt the drill bit right up against the threaded part. You want it to be roughly the same size. You don't want it to be the same size, and you do not want it to be bigger. Now, when you're drilling this, it's honestly pretty simple. You can either measure it if you're pretty precise, and then you can obviously install it up there and then measure how many tubes you want to come down in a specific location. Or if you don't care, you can just measure from a wall to the end of the tank. You can just start drilling in this thing and then just putting your valves in here. It's not going to make a difference. For me, I like my stuff clean, so I will literally be measuring from the wall into the middle of the tank, then from the wall into the middle of the other tank, etc., etc. Once you have wrapped your thread with the tape, remember, you want to be wrapping in the same direction as you're tightening. And if you're wondering why, it's because when you go ahead and put this in whatever hole that you're trying to put threaded stuff into, if your tape is the wrong way, you will actually unravel the tape itself on the threads. And now we know that is not going to leak, and it is actually pretty solid. So the pipe is up there in the air. Now, as you saw, I only did 2, which is completely fine because I want it to be very precise on whereabouts I'm putting these valves within my main airline hose. And it stops right here. I do have to get a coupling to put on there because I'm going to be bringing this all the way across. Even though this back wall is not finished yet, I do already have 2 CO2 tanks that are fully planted here. Nothing else on this shelf is going to be CO2 apart from this one and this one. So I still need to bring this line over, hit that corner, bring it over, and then bring it over here for this rack because this is our breeding rack. So this does need air, and as you can see, I've got an air pump behind that one. I have an air pump over here. I have an air pump there. It's just a lot of mess, and we're not a fan of that. All I did was hose clamp, and then I spread this braided hose apart and kind of heated it up a little bit so it would stay that size, and I shoved it onto the end of the 1/2-inch line. You are wondering what kind of hose that I used. It is right here. We've got 5/8 ID 7/8 OD And it's pretty much just dishwasher hose. And what I mean by braided is if we do one of these numbers and we grab the end of here, you will see that inside, if it will show you, it's not going to show you, it's not going to focus, they're little lines. These are lines that go around the outside of it. That's actually got braided inside of it, so it's technically very strong. If you ordered the same pump that I received off Haiger, just know in the packaging there is quite a lot of stuff that you can get that will probably be a lot better for you if you don't want to go ahead and do what we're doing today. But considering you're watching this video, pretty sure you want to go ahead and put one giant air system throughout the whole fish room so you don't have to worry about all of those darn pumps. In the package, you do get this insane, like, I would call it an air manifold. You can put multiple air lines on this and then run them to the tanks. I want to say that is about 1.25 inches. I want to say this is 1.25 inches, and they do send you a little boot that reduces down to 1/2 inch, which is pretty much the same size as the outlet on the Haiger pump. So you put this big thick part on here, and then it like kind of reduces down right here into like roughly, you know, 1/2 inch, I want to say. And then that way you can get all of this by just attaching that one thing to the pump. Fortunately, I do have to build a little tiny shelf in the corner right above the Severum tank because this thing's loud. I was unaware of how loud it was, and Haiger, I think you should probably maybe reword some stuff on your sales where it says like super quiet. It's not quiet at all. Like, just wait. That's not quiet at all. So yeah. Again, I'm not hating on the product. I just know full well that's not as quiet as it could be. So I have to go ahead and build a little box and soundproof it, and I'm going to be adding a vent in the side of it with a fan, and then I'm going to be putting a fan on top so it can suck air in and then blow hot air out. It's almost like a PC case. If you didn't know, you know, you have certain like fans on your PC that point in and then they drag out, or they drag in and drag out. It's pretty much the same concept that we're doing with the box, which we have to build in the corner. It's going to be the best option for me personally. I wouldn't say I'm running out of room in the fish room, but I want to start getting to the point where it looks more professional in here. It looks cleaner. It looks well put together. Hence why we're doing this. Even though I do think I said the same thing maybe last year when I first started doing this. It's like one of my first things that I was going to do was install an air system like this, and I never did. So literally like 1.5 years later, I decided, yeah, I think it's about time, because I am starting to slowly get the fish room back up into like professional order, I would say. Like I want to walk through my door and then people be like, oh my God, it's like going to like a zoo. It's going to like an aquarium. That's the plan here. And this is just really, really efficient. So believe me, if you have a fish room like this, definitely consider doing a whole in-one air system in your fish room and just have your leader lines coming out from like an air main above, almost like my fill system. If you haven't seen the fill system, it's going to be right there. Go ahead and click that. That is my auto, I wouldn't say auto, it's more like a manual autofill system. It's pretty big on my channel. I do believe it's like the most viewed video, and we're going to be doing an updated version of that because we do have to install some more, and I want to go ahead and move the valves and put the valves like right near where the sink is, because for me personally, having to walk over there and open the valve is kind of a pain in the butt. So it would be nice to have like a main little control manifold right in front of me, just above where the tap is, or the faucet, I should say, and then just label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. That way I know I can open that valve. I don't have to run down here, flick it on, get under the tank. I can just do everything from there. So that's actually a pretty cool video to probably look forward to and most likely watch, because I am slowly getting back into my DIY stuff, and to be honest, I don't want it to look crap. Let's go ahead and talk about the pump that I'm using. Okay, so this is the Haiger HG125-160. It does say Haiger high flow low noise air pump. It is not low noise. If you have been to a fish store and you hear that huge pump in the background, that is what this is. It's huge. It is very big. This is my hand, and as you can see, it's an absolute behemoth of it. When you get the packaging, you do get a couple of things in it, like I spoke about before. It's just the thing, for me, there is something that comes in it, and you can kind of screw it in here, and then it has like a beveled edge, almost like an air stone kind of dealio, where it's kind of like braided. It screws in, and then you can put like a big air hose into this. Now, I'm not hating on this design at all. It is a very cool design, but I went a different route, and I just want to go ahead and just stick a 1/2 inch braided hose on here that's going to connect to the airline. The easiest thing you can do is just pressurize a line. Disclaimer, okay, if you know anything about pressurizing lines or PVC or anything, whatever material you are using, just know certain materials can only handle so much PSI before it goes wrong. That being said, on every single PVC pipe sold, most likely throughout the whole world, you're going to have a lot of information on here. Now, if you don't know what you're looking at, you need to look at this right here, how it says PSI 600. This can only handle 600 PSI within inside this before it starts to obviously start to inflate like a balloon. So when doing something like this, please do take into consideration what kind of pipe you're using, how much PSI the pump is putting out. I know this is fine. That pump is not putting out like constant 600 PSI. There's no way. And you got to remember, on a sealed system where it's kind of plugged on either end and no air can escape, that's what it's referring to, is this will start to inflate over 600 PSI. There's not really anything else to talk about, I won't lie to you. I mean, it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. You just install a pipe above you with a bunch of valves, and then you run your leaders down. You find a good pump that can withhold all of the tanks and all of the air that you're going to be putting through it, because you can't do 2 tanks off one tiny little pump, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be enough pressure behind it for the air to flow down and go into every single tank. You do take pressure away from one tank when you start adding more air stones. Just remember that. That's why a big pump that outputs quite a bit of air and gallons per hour is definitely recommended for something like this. Once I have built the shelf and actually put the pump onto it, then I'll show you what it looks like, but that's pretty much it for this video. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. I am trying to be better at my quality, my mics. As you can see, I actually have a new DJI mic. I did spend the money on it because I was kind of, appalled with how bad my quality was for my microphone when I uploaded the ADA event. And again, we're going to be talking about the ADA event soon in another video. I'm going to actually sit down and talk about it. Pretty much go through the whole video again with better mic quality, so people can really watch it and not have to like turn it off because the mic quality was so bad. So if you made it this far, I do appreciate you so much. If you don't mind smacking that like button and even giving me a thumbs up and possibly subscribing, I'd greatly appreciate it. But I'm out of here. Thank you guys so